Good morning, everybody. I am the Cynic. As most of you are aware, thanks to Barbarossa's video, BrettBart.com has come out with an article called The Sexodus, which is basically explaining why MGTOW has become the growing force it is today and will continue to become. However, this article was recently removed with no explanation as to why, though it's of no real consequence. The information the website has shown is nothing new. When I first saw this article, I was a bit hesitant for MGTOW receiving that kind of public recognition due to the follow-up InfoWars did on the piece. But as they say, you must take the good with the bad. While Breitbart may not be the biggest news distributor on the internet, it certainly does bring in more traffic than your average MRA website. While the article does have some right-wing bias to it, it does convey the message of why men are opting out in a rather objective way. Speaking of young boys having medication forced down their throats to cater to a female-aimed school system, as well as the view society has on men who show any interest in children's academia or social interactions with them. This, of course, equals if a man has an interest in a child, he must be a pedophile. Along with the raw deal men are offered in relationships to women, as well as the justified fear of social ostracism or needlessly humiliating criticism. Reading this article, it's almost exactly like any other article that objectively observes the herbivore man of Japan, withdrawal from the opposite sex due to lack of interest or as well as cost, risk, benefit analysis, female attitude, society's ludicrous standards for men, and of course, what men have to gain overall. The relationship aspect is the pussy pass on socially embraced notions of women's lack of ability to decide and communicate what they want, as well as rules for engagement between the sexes. If a woman asks the question, does this dress make me look fat, and the man is told to say no, even if she can be mistaken for a walrus. A woman says she wants one thing, but the man is supposed to be looking for, quote-unquote, what she's really saying. As if their vagina gives women some kind of excuse to not be honest and forthcoming about their intentions and play immature games for the sake of keeping the relationship alive. Men are finally asking, why the fuck can't you just say what the fuck you mean? And women aren't taking kindly to being called out on their bullshit. The game is rigged, and men know it. Societally, men have been expected to feel sympathy for the woman's world, yet are also expected to man up, which is quite synonymous with shut up, and perform their expected duties. Men have begun asking themselves, why should I? And come to the conclusion that such a notion not only doesn't benefit them, but actually holds a kind of disrespect for his individual integrity. The real man, quote-unquote, isn't someone these men want to be anymore, as they have seen the outcome of this real man's life and found it wanting. What have men to gain through all of this? As you know, it used to be respect of being a husband and alleged father, as well as the acknowledgement of the responsibility that a man takes for a family he had created. Now, such things aren't respected. Sad to say. And what little there is shown is a paper-thin lip service paid by people who see him as little more than an ATM machine to support the next generation. For men going their own way, what I've said is nothing new. Myself, Stardust, Barbarossa, Sandman, Raging Golden Eagle, Spetsnaz, the mayor of MGTOW, and so many more have been preaching this for years. But with the newly coined term Sexodus and the attention it is receiving, I believe it beneficial to rehash these points for the new wave that a popular site has brought to us or will bring to us. Add to this the growing trend of minimism, vanilla masculinism from my observations, and there will be a coming boom to the manosphere. For that, I'd like to say a few things for any newcomers to MGTOW, led here by the Sexodus. 1. The channels in the description will further your knowledge and elaborate the positions men, such as myself, have taken far better than I can. Barbarossa, Stardust, Sandman, and Spetsnaz in particular. What will eventually happen is that feminism will become the public scapegoat for the problems the sexes face today. This is a lie. While feminism most certainly didn't help, it is far from the main problem that plagues men as a gender. Traditionalism and its focusing on the family, especially the mother and children, has left men as the workhorses and providers of the family at his own expense, as opposed to feminists who think he should do it for society. As strange as the bedfellows as traditionalism and feminism may make, the word to look for is Gynocentrism. 3. Men who don't participate in the sex games will be blamed and shamed in an attempt to get us back in line. Ask yourself, why would you want to step back in line? What purpose and benefit would it serve you as a man to return to the games? Is it worth it? And ask yourself another question. Why would you wish association with a society who sees you as so inconsequential that your opinion and sense of self are cast aside for their benefit? 4. The term man up means shut up, plain and simple. It is an attempt to shame and show disrespect that should be treated as such. 5. The jokes you hear on TV and movies about men who regret getting married are losing their comedy and gaining a foothold in truth, or are expressed more in a foothold in truth. The pictures seen on this video may be very disturbing the more one comes to terms with how accurate they really are. And 6. We as men, as MGTOW, have come to a point of ponderance about asking why, about determining our course not based on what women or society expect of us, but by determining what we want for ourselves as individual men. And extrinsic motivation has failed us. No matter what happens now, MGTOW will only grow as a phenomena. We are not a group with a central goal. We are individual men who have dared to ask the questions that would label us quote-unquote misogynist and have found the answers illogical and uninspiring. If you'd like to see more in-depth view of the future, I urge you to look up the Japanese herbivore man. While we in the West may not follow the same metrosexual path they have, the trends of relationship abandonment and reclusion to more enjoyable hobbies are incontrovertible as statistical data has shown. Good luck, have fun, and enjoy the decline. I am the Cynic, everybody. Have a nice day.